So today we've got a legend, really an icon in the world of sports, teams, leagues, venues, all around commercial partnership, sponsorship, not only how to do it, but how to successfully do it and then maintain the credibility, the relationships, because at the end of the day, we're all in a people business. Nick Baker, sitting right next to me here, is the president and COO of AEG Global Partnerships. He's been at AEG for nearly 22 years, which is really unique in our world to have lasted that long at a single company, and there are reasons for it, and you're going to hear a lot about that in the next 45 minutes. Nick, can't thank you enough. Welcome to the Best Boss Ever podcast.
Carl, what a pleasure to be here. That intro, when you were speaking, I was thinking someone else would be your guest as you were giving all those compliments. So I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but I'll take it. That's very kind of you.
Well, it's easy to say because it's true. So you can disagree all you want, but it's not going to change the facts.
Well, I'm pumped. Long time listener, first time caller, I feel like, on your podcast. So
Love it.
I'm honored to be a part of it, man.
Well, I appreciate it very much. Listen, we start every one of these episodes with the exact same question. Nobody gets to where they are, particularly at the level of success that you have achieved by themselves. There are helpers, supporters, leaders, bosses, managers, all of that all along the way. So the simple question is, who, maybe more than one who, was the best boss or leader you ever had, you ever worked for? Why, and what were the learnings that you took away from that individual?
Yeah, it's such a great question, and I totally agree. There's way more than just one. When you ask that question, the first kind of person that comes to my mind, mentor, just influence, is my father. He's got such an incredible way of handling all situations, and so I've been spoiled in terms of having, great parents, my mother and my father, but my dad in particular around business has been, sometimes when I'm speaking to him, it's just a business, relationship where I'm asking for advice from him. You just get to do it with your dad, which is super cool. Then the second person that comes to mind is my best friend, partner in crime, Russell Silvers. Those are the two people that come instantly just because Russell and I have grown up in this business, in this company together, and still get to work together every day. And I think a mentor is somebody that pushes you, makes you better, really has high expectations for you. You want their advice, you want their respect, you want to showcase good in front of them. And Russell's definitely somebody that brings that out of me. But I've had so many, right? I mean, Phil Anschutz is my boss, Dan Beckerman is my boss, Todd Goldstein is my boss. These are, gentlemen that I've worked for my entire career. I started at AEG as an intern, so I've been very, very fortunate to work for incredible people, and I'm surrounded by mentors everywhere, whether they're clients of ours, colleagues of mine, younger, older. I mean, that's the best part of this industry, is it is this collaborative team approach to the industry, and I love that.
Well, all of what you said is sort of amazingly true, particularly the names you ticked off. There's got to be sort of a common thread, right? You and I spoke a little bit about before we came on the air here, and you mentioned the word culture, and that is so important in an organization. You lead from the top, you lead from the front. There's that old axiom, right? You either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And in this particular company, which is a really awesome blend of sports team ownership, venue ownership, large-scale venues, from Crypto.com Arena at LA Live to the O2 in London, to music. AEG presents and AEG owns Coachella and Stagecoach, among many other festivals across the country. So you've got this very unique blend of assets, of industries and verticals that you work across. But it all starts with leadership and culture. So give us the, behind the curtain story of the culture at AEG.
Yeah, I think it's good people. It's good people. Our owner is family oriented. He's honest, entrepreneurial, interesting, great risk taking, but conservative. There are just so many characteristics. I could spend the rest of the time speaking to the culture of our company in a positive manner. Not to say we don't have challenges, right? All great companies have challenges, and even all small companies have challenges. So there are challenges there, but I think the leadership and the culture is not something you write on a piece of paper or put up on a wall and put quotes around it. It's based upon action. And I have had a chance to kind of see that day in and day out be accurate and authentic. And so even within our own group, global partnerships, which we help lead and are responsible for, we try to drive 4 characteristics within our group, which is depth, talent, growth, and vibe. We want to have that from each one of our members of global partnership. And then I think the company should provide that opportunity to each individual member as a part of your career. There should be depth to it. There should be talent on both sides. You should be bringing your talent. There should be talent within the company you work for, and that creates growth. And the vibe is so important, right? I mean, that vibe is just a hard thing. We worked together all those years with ASM. You saw it. We were on the same floor. There's a vibe to what we're doing, and it's fun. It's great. We're in live entertainment. We're in sports, and we're in music, and we're in technology through ticketing. Like, this is cool stuff. This is why you stay in it. And if you get to do it with cool people, then all of a sudden you've got something special. And that's what, when you say, what is it with AEG? I just think it's a wonderful group of people, and it's a wonderful portfolio. And in my role, we're trying to drive revenue to be associated with that. Like, that's a cool value prop.
No kidding. And revenue at the end of the day is not only a requirement, but it's an imperative. And you and Todd and Russell have demonstrated that year in and year out for the better part of 25 years, and you continue to do it. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Staples came in as the naming rights partner for the Staples Center, which is literally behind you in the backdrop there as you sit at LA Live on the 3rd floor of that building. Yep, you're right. We were across the floor from each other, across the hall. It was great, and the vibe was great. But the story around why Staples decided to not renew the naming rights partnership because it was an iconic building, but had an iconic brand around it, right? So tell us that story. I mean, I know a little bit about it, but you share what you're able to share because it's really a great story.
Yeah, it hits on growth, which I talked about. It hits on depth and vibe, and talent for sure. So there's a couple points there. One, Staples was an incredible partner. It was done prior to me joining as an intern, but I got to see the rise of that venue become known as just Staples, right? Like, when you said the word Staples, you weren't talking about the office store, right?
Correct.
You were talking about Kobe. Did you see what Kobe did at Staples, or did you saw the Kings won the cup at Staples? So it's iconic. It was iconic. What I think it speaks to is the entrepreneurial spirit of our company. And so we looked at how are we going to grow. And Staples actually didn't get out of that deal. They had signed a second extension at a time when economics were difficult in our world, in finishing LA Live, the recession, etc. And they renewed their deal and made a one-time payment, but then they held the rights in perpetuity. And so there was an opportunity a few years later, through the ideas and the direction of Todd Goldstein and ultimately Dan and Phil, who agreed that we should look at a new partner if Staples was open to kind of, restructuring. And there was a private equity group that was involved at that time. Staples had gone through bankruptcy, which is public knowledge. And so there was a new group, and we were able to go there and just kind of be authentic and transparent about our aspirations for the future and what we wanted out of our partner in terms of the younger tech innovation as we looked into the future for this campus. And we aligned on that. And so there was, an agreement made. And then that agreement allowed us to go out to market at a time that ended up being very interesting. There were personal challenges at the time. There were also the pandemic, which created incredibly unique business circumstances. And through that process, we found an ideal partner in Crypto.com. And it came together, I think, at a perfect time for them as a company and a perfect time for us as we were reinvesting so much into the arena. The Lakers were continuing their lease, and we just, Clippers were moving out. It was just a perfect transition of this opportunity for the next phase. And so I have long said I will always refer to those years as those were the Staples days. And then those great times and that awesome bit of experiences, I got to be a part of that. It was unbelievable. But now we have this new phase, and Crypto.com has been an exceptional partner. And we have ridden the growth of that sector, and they have been great partners, and we've been great partners back. This venue continues to just be busy with cultural events, and that's the name of the game.
How many events per year at the arena?
Over 220. it's unbelievable. I mean, this week we'll
It's the
have
busiest building in the planet.
it's crazy. I mean, Katie Pandolfo is our new general manager, took over for the legend that is Lee Zeidman. And just this week, we'll have two Laker playoff games. We've got a Kings playoff game tonight and a Kings playoff game on Sunday. It's amazing. This venue is really interesting and unique.
It's a great place to see an event, whether it's a sporting event or a concert or a show or whatever. I've had the pleasure to be there multiple times, as you know, and every one of those episodes was awesome. It's just such a fun place to be. Let's talk a little bit. You referenced the word campus. And for those that aren't overly familiar with LA Live, because we got listeners from all over the place, talk about the campus, obviously anchored by the Lakers, the Kings, and, in a list of acts, artists, bands that come through there that's probably unmatched around the world in terms of quality of talent. So what else is on campus and where are you? And
Yeah,
help everybody
absolutely.
understand what the heck.
Yeah, absolutely. I think now more commonplace than not are entertainment districts and sports. But at the time that LA Live was built, there was a true vision from Phil and Shoots to build the first of its kind, fully controlled entertainment district that offered, multiple real estate aspects 365 days of the year. So we've got Peacock Theater, which has 7,100 seats. We just recently announced the Oscars will be here. The Emmys take place there, and other music and family shows take place inside Peacock Theater. Then we have the Novo, which is about a 2,200 seat music club, which is an incredible venue. We've got the Grammy Museum here. We've got our office building, Herbalife, longtime partner of the LA Galaxy, has their corporate headquarters here. ESPN does the great deal of their production here through a West Coast headquarters. And then we've got a 1,001 room hotel that we own, and Marriott runs for us through the JW and the Ritz-Carlton, and 225 residential condominiums. So you've got people living, here, traveling here, number of different restaurants. And we built this city within the city in such an ideal spot in this great Los Angeles city, and we were able to maximize the events that are taking place here and the partners that are activating here. And so it is a controlled campus in terms of the messaging that you see from our commercial partners to the type of events that come through here. And to your earlier point, Carl, it's not just NBA basketball or NHL hockey or WNBA basketball. It's cultural events, it's corporate conferences, it's family travel, it's college campus, parents' weekends, it's anything and everything you can imagine coming through this campus. And it's been incredibly successful. Obviously, a template for AEG's development around the world. It's similar to the entertainment district you see in London that we have. It's very similar to Berlin, very similar to what we've tried to do in Las Vegas as well. And many others have done it really well in other parts of the country and the world. And I think that's the way the consumer wants to experience live entertainment and have all of these things readily available to them.
Well, right. If you provide the opportunity for your words, 365 days a year, entertainment, things to do, see, eat, drink, whatever, over and above the 200 plus event nights, that still leaves 165 plus days where nothing's going on at the arena. But there might be something going on at the LA Convention Center, which is also on the campus. And I know that there's also been an announcement that the Convention Center is going through, over the next couple, 3-4 years, a pretty significant expansion. Hopefully all that gets completed by the time LA 28 kicks off.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a transformative time in Los Angeles, which is really exciting for folks in our industry because we've got the World Cup coming here in a couple of months, obviously playing games at SoFi, but we've got our hotel here where people will be visiting for a number of days from around the world and utilizing our campus and creating value across our campus. The Super Bowl comes back in 27, unbelievable event for the city and the industry. And again, game will be there Sunday, but the days leading up to it with Fan Fest and activations and parties and other games that we'll have around our campus, that's what we were built for. We were built to host those types of events. And then, of course, the mecca of all global games, the Olympics in 28. And we're very fortunate that many of our facilities, including Crypto.com Arena, Peacock Theater, and then where the LA Galaxy play Dignity Health Sports Park, will be Olympic facilities. Quite a time in Los Angeles, and we're proud that I think the infrastructure that our owner led in developing and utilizing has allowed for there to be infrastructure here ready for the games to be here.
Right. Well, and if I'm not wrong, I think there are also some competitive events planned to actually be inside the convention center itself. Is that not right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not sure
think
on
there
that too,
might
but I
might
think
be
you're right.
table tennis or
Yeah.
something like that. Marty
That's what I'm
Supreme, the
that's what I'm
Marty.
excited to see. I want to go see archery and ping pong and powerlifting inside Peacock Theater. I want to see some sports that I'm not used to seeing.
Right. Well, you'll have a front row seat, obviously. Talk a little bit about the challenges that we collectively face on a daily basis. Hopefully, fewer days than more days, but culture tends to stabilize and allow groups, in this case, your global partnership group, to navigate through challenges, problems, you use the word tough times, whatever. You go through an 18-month pandemic where there's zero live events, right? Nobody's going out, nobody's showing up. So talk a little bit about that, because I think the acid test really for a quality organization is everybody is happy when it's going great. But when
Yeah,
it's not going great, that's when the rubber meets the road.
I love that. I love that point there. I oftentimes judge my own personal relationships with people on how they behave during difficult times versus good times. And I think I try to judge myself on that as well. How are you behaving and how are you treating people when things are hard? Because to your point, when things are great, everyone's smart, you know? Everyone's smart and everyone's great and everyone wants the credit. I think there's two things that pop out when you ask that question. One is how do you combat kind of that natural negative tone from everyone with great perspective? We are in live sports, right? There are other more important issues in the world that are going on. I am a part of a group who's going to drive commercial sponsorships across AEG. I don't think we are having the most profound impact on the world. There are other people who are doing that in other sectors of the world. Now, I love what we get to do, and I do think it has power, and I think it's fun, and it is productive. So there's a great tone to that. But I think having that perspective helps a lot through challenges in terms of are we having a really, really big challenge that, oh my God, we should start screaming and yelling about? Or should we be on a team and figure it out? And we figured it out before and we can figure this out. And it's business and we're going to figure it out around, this sport or this music asset. Usually communication or miscommunication is the reason for that. But I think the negativity is also something that I've spoken to a lot of my friends in the business about that is a challenge right now is that when you hear from someone, they talk about, oh God, they're so busy. Or they talk about, oh God, this is terrible. I got to fix this and I got to do that. Or this person has done this to me or to us. Instead of the tone being a little more positive in light of a challenge. I like to get after a challenge with a smile. I love when we're sitting around with our team and sometimes I will stop a meeting and say, this is the best part. We don't know what we're gonna do. Like everyone take a minute. Like we are not in trouble, but we gotta figure this out. We don't know what we're gonna do. This is the best part. I don't know who's going to be our sponsor. I don't know how we're going to fill this hole. We've made this kind of misstep. We've got to correct it. I don't even know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it together as a team. It's going to be creative. And I bet you we'll end up being in a better position when we're done with it. And that's the reputation that you hope to earn from people is that when shit got hard, they were great. And I'm big on that. I like being that partner to people. I like being that friend to people. And that has been a bit of our track record. And I can say that you can go ask a few people about that, right? Like when stuff is tough, we come at it with the right perspective. We come at it with some positivity. We definitely come at it collaborative. I mean, I need a lot of help every day from everybody I work with. You worked with me, so you know that. I can't do anything good alone. So I think that is a important ingredient to keep in mind as we go through this little phase of our business world.
Well, that's leadership at its core. You rally the troops. Yeah, everybody can go to the restroom and piss and moan and do all that sort of thing. That's not the point. The point is, hey, we're all on the same team. We're going to collaborate. We're going to be creative. We're going to innovate where and how and when we can. And we're going to solve this problem together. And I love to hear that, Nick, because that's an attitude, a mindset, a heart set, if you will, that at its core, people will instinctively and naturally rally around. And I think that's a testament to what you described earlier as it relates to the culture of AEG, because it's not an easy thing to do, but when you think it through and put that stake in the ground and say, this is how we're going to do it, people step up to that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's the point when when people say, are you here 20 years or this person's here 15 years or 10 years or 12? It's not one answer. There's 1,000 examples of behavior of why this person or that person continues to find depth, talent, growth, and vibe here, continues to be rewarded for their actions. And usually, a reward is more responsibility. You get busier, but you don't complain about it. That's exciting. That's the best part. Like, we're busy. There's a lot of stuff to do. Like, that's amazing. That's a great thing to talk about versus that tone of like, oh God. And then, the level of seriousness. Like, let's have the right level of it. And sometimes you'll go into a room with an agency or even a client and, you just set the tone quickly. This isn't going to be a fight. We're not going to yell. Like, that's not the way we do business. We're going to be honest and forthright. And a lot of times, if we've made a mistake within global partnerships on any number of our partnerships, and there's 4,000 of them in our portfolio across 130 plus assets, right? There's a lot of deals that we do with a lot of great companies, and we don't do it all right. So if we get it wrong, we just say we got it wrong. Hey, we didn't do this right. This wasn't the way we thought it was going to go. Some of it is in our control. Some of it's not. It's not an excuse. And then the other powerful part of our portfolio is that we probably have business with them in other places where we have always been good, or we have something of a make good that can provide them value for that lost value. And they appreciate that, the manner in which we went about it, and you showcase that to the folks on your team, and you move forward into the next phase. But I only continue to do that because it's a natural instinct, and then two, Carl, it works. Like, it's good business. So that's why we do it, because it's the right thing to do, but it's the right outcome as well, because you deepen these relationships with these partners of ours. And at AEG, like, we're not an agency within global partnerships, because when we do a deal with someone, we stay around. We got to promise something, and then we got to deliver it, and then if it's not delivered, we're still there. We're not selling you something or doing a deal and then leaving town. So that's also a different kind of behavior that we have to have, and I like that.
Do you have a dedicated group, Nick, inside GP that specifically is tasked with, I'll call it hand-holding or guiding or working with and having those clients trust a group on the inside?
Yeah, and I credit Russell, decade plus ago, he established within our group an asset ownership initiative. And there's a sales team, there's an activation team, there's an operations team, there's a research team. There's a lot of different, I compare it oftentimes to a football team where you're thinking about your offense, your defense, and your special teams. And special teams can't win games without great special teams. So, I'm a football guy, so that theory rings true. And your offense can play great, but if your defense gives up big plays, you're in trouble. So we look at global partnerships as offense, defense, and special teams, and you got to be able to play all those positions really well and all those sides of the ball really well. And you're also not always hitting your highest expectation, Carl. So that's a cool part.
Hey, bunts still get you on base.
That's right. That's a great call, right? And you got to be able to do the fundamentals and the small things. And some people don't recognize that as well. Not every day is popping champagne and signing the big deal. And oftentimes when you get to the day where you're signing the deal, you've already been done with it for a bit and the person has agreed to it and you're already activating, right? The celebration should be every day. The hard work should be every day.
I want to talk a little bit about soccer. World Cup is on the near-term horizon here. We're inside 8 weeks as we record this. And just down the road from where you're sitting is the Dignity Health Sports Park, home of the LA Galaxy, which has been in the Anschutz broader group for 25 years-ish, 26 years maybe, going on 30. So I was with Don Garber, the commissioner of MLS for the last 28 years, arguably because of the earliest days of MLS where it teetered on going away for 3 or 4 years. Two things. One, Phil Anschutz played an amazing role in those early days. And I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about that, because I said this yesterday, one could argue, and it's not even an argument, that without Phil Anschutz in the earliest days of MLS doing what he did, that league might not be around.
Yeah, that's a factual statement. There is no argument there. It definitely, I mean, his name is on the championship trophy for a reason. He owned 6+ teams at one time. There's a great deal said and written about his belief in soccer and his commitment to it in this country. And the MLS is flourishing in large part to so many reasons, but Phil's a key part of that. I had a bit of a front row seat to that as I started my career here at a young age. That league was just a few years old, and to see its growth has been nothing short of exceptional. They've been punching up for some time in that league, and they're continuing to do that. And the World Cup, just each time the World Cup plays, it enhances the MLS value proposition. But when it's, on our land, it's here, and you can, host it. It's got a different tone to it. It's definitely feeling that. I'm very excited about, the atmosphere that will be in Los Angeles and in the United States and North America during, the coming weeks here. It's going to be really exciting. I think there's been great owners, there's been great players, there's been great business leaders, great community impact. The league has done, an exceptional job in that. I find the value proposition with the LA Galaxy in particular to be of great interest to brands and people because of that connection that it has to all those aspects. City National Bank's a great partner of ours, LA-based bank, and they wanted to get involved with the LA Galaxy for several reasons, one of which was to impact the community. And we've done some great things around the tragic wildfires that took place last year here, in rebuilding fields. The idea that you can create infrastructure in areas that need help and improvement and provide kids a safe place to play. Like, that's so wholesome and real, and that brands should be a part of that. If you care about the community in which you do business in, you should probably create a great place for kids to play soccer. And you should help people that are challenged, and we should help children and the youth. That game is such a family experience. And so when we go to games and we see now we've got third generation season ticket holders, like, that's crazy, because I was there when we got the first season ticket sold. And we've had success as a team with the LA Galaxy. We've won more championships than anybody else, but we've also had some real challenges too. And I think that makes it more powerful when you've seen both ends of the spectrum of being on top and being, in a place where you got to figure it out. Those are two great places to be, and I think the best days of the MLS lie ahead, although there'll still continue to be great competition in this country with other means of entertainment.
No doubt. The world of soccer has always been, at least in this country, with the youth. I mean, I think it's fair to say, Nick, you probably have some statistics on it, that in youth sports, soccer, boys and girls, is the most widely participated in team sport in this country at the youth level. So the promise was always that, well, why shouldn't an MLS succeed with that underlying potential fan base? Why shouldn't an NWSL succeed with its underlying fan base? The World Cup of women comes here in 1999. It's the Mia Hamm, it's Brandi Chastain, it's Michelle Akers, it's all of the who's who in the history of women soccer players and icons. They win the World Cup in spectacular fashion. And then it takes, 15 years for the NWSL to actually gain its footing, right? It's such an interesting thing to me. But all of that said, I think we've now reached a point with Men's World Cup 8 weeks away, and in 5 years' time, the Women's World Cup coming to the U.S. in 2031. Soccer as a vertical sport from the earliest childhood experiences all the way to elite professionals, MVPs, and Hall of Famers is sort of unassailable at this point, would be my perspective. Does that mean there aren't going to be, bits and pieces and challenges along the way? Absolutely not, because there will be. But I think finally we can sit here on this, conversation and say professional soccer, men and women in this country, is here to stay. Full stop.
I mean, it's a big business, right? It's a big business and has a big impact. I think we were talking a little bit about perspective a few minutes ago. Like, it's also an interesting thing where we want instant gratification, and there's always this aspiration to grow at times to unreasonable metrics, right? Is it going to do the same TV numbers as the NFL? No. Does that mean it's not an incredibly great business? It's got a lot of growth to it? No. It can be both things. So, I had a chance, again, another fortunate opportunity at AEG was when David Beckham joined the LA Galaxy, an inflection point. And such an unbelievable moment for the sport and the league. And now there's been so many, we're having the moment now again with Messi, and so many people oftentimes confuse competition with opportunity. And I think competition creates an awesome opportunity to get better or to sometimes ride along. So Beckham being a part of the MLS leads to him owning a team in Miami, which leads to him signing Messi, which leads to all good things for the MLS, right? LAFC, competitors to the LA Galaxy, competitors in quotes. Unbelievable. Great franchise, great venue, great ownership
All good.
group. All good.
All good.
Team valuations, all good. So I think perspective is so important in terms of competition, and I think our industry can help one another in those facets. But yeah, to your point, it's in a great place. It'll continue to be in a great place and grow, but it'll continue to have challenges, right? Media distribution is a challenge. It needs to find those eyeballs. It's competing for eyeballs. It's changing its season, the MLS announced earlier this year, which I think is interesting. So we'll see, said the Zen Master. Like, I'm not sure, right?
Right.
We'll see.
I like the move. I'm 2 thumbs up on going to the international calendar for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different businesses that have similarities in different avenues that have to keep innovating and keep competing, but then also appreciate where they're at. I mean, it's been an incredible ride, and the valuations and the transactions that happen amaze me. Candidly.
Right.
The numbers are amazing.
Yeah, they are, and it's fun to be a part of. I want to ask you a little bit about the development platforms that AEG has successfully deployed, starting with LA Live in downtown LA, but the O2 in London, Berlin, which you all have done in Las Vegas. But this notion of mixed-use entertainment zones anchored by an arena or a stadium with food, with beverage, with other things to do, with hotels and availability to attract visitors, guests, patrons, showgoers, fans on a year-round basis. I know, and I'm going to ask you about it, that you all, AEG, have been deep in the ground in Nashville, Tennessee with Nashville Yards. And that's a really cool project that at the moment, very few consumers even know exists or is going to exist. So talk to us a little bit about Nashville Yards, and is that a model for future development?
Yeah, for sure. It is a model. Todd Goldstein led that effort. A lot of other folks, Ted Tanner and Scott Emery, a lot of folks on our AEG Presents team played a big part of that. There's certainly a new model within our AEG Presents team that these smaller music venues, new at 4,000 seats, is kind of an interesting new venue. We've got a lot of success in other markets. In Denver, we're building in Austin and Portland similar concepts to what Nashville Yards and the Pinnacle is. But it's built upon the idea of the other entertainment districts. Essentially, the model, Carl, is what we've done with these large-scale arenas now is centered around music, and these new 4,000-ish seat venues replacing maybe the larger arena and having more around it. Nashville Yards.
Or in addition to, right? Because there are some acts that are,
right.
they're never going to sell out a 12 or 15 or 16 or 18,000 seat arena, but they are blowing the doors off 2,500 seat clubs. So this 4,000 to 6,000 cap venue, I think, is a huge sweet spot.
Yeah, sometimes you're on the escalator, right? The escalator is like you're starting at a 2,000 seat, then you're at 7,000, and then all of a sudden you're selling out crypto or you're selling out a stadium at 70,000, and then some of those, they take the escalator down, right? And you're grabbing somebody on the way down of that equation. But the same model exists, right? At Nashville Yards, we've got a great partner there, Southwest Value Partners. There's a beautiful hotel. There's office space there. There's restaurants and retail. CAA Sports' headquarters will be there, which is an incredible show of relationship and partnership. I mean, that's an incredible town, as you know. It's booming. It's Music City. There's a culture and a vibe there that speaks to that, and there wasn't a venue like it. And there's other markets that I think will benefit from that. But there's always got to be, I've noticed in our 20 plus years, that there's always, you don't do things for one reason. There's going to be other opportunities to activate, and an entertainment district really shows you that. And at our heart, AEG is a real estate company. We got great real estate and great markets all over the world, and that's our hardware, and the software is the content that goes through that real estate.
Right. You program it.
That's kind of,
and then you monetize the traffic.
when we find partners, and our job is to go out there and find these great brands that see the value proposition of that platform and the eyeballs that are on it, the diverse eyeballs and demographics of it, and the always on type of platform for them to activate and tell their story of their industry, which is the value prop.
Yeah. Well, listen, the AEG story going on 30 years is nothing short of amazing. You are among, if not the global leader in exactly what you've just described. Kudos to you and all of your teammates. I love this story. We could go on and on here, Nick. But in the interest of time, we've got a few minutes left. I always close each session with a few questions, and they're typically the same questions. So I'm going to ask you those questions. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
All right. So work-life balance. In our world of sport, music, entertainment, and global travel, there is a lot going on and lot of requirement to be away from home. So you're a family man, you have work-life balance. To what degree, or does faith play a role in your sort of work-life balance with your family?
My faith is rooted in positivity. So I'm a big energy person around the type of positivity that you give to people is often what you'll give out. And so I think that has really been beneficial for my family during challenges that we've had with my son and his health, to the balance of work and those responsibilities. I think positivity is a religion. And I'm a big believer in that. And I think it ends up creating good things in and around your orbit. So that's where my vibes go towards.
Perfect. Fun question now, and you've seen a lot. This is the concert that you attended where a female artist or a female-led band was the headliner, and it's your most favorite one.
Sabrina Carpenter with my 11-year-old daughter. It was unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Just to be able to experience that as a father. And to your point, you do spend a lot of time at work, but my children have had a chance to see it. We involve them. They come to events. They know that clients and friends are going to be there. I think that's a great addition to our parenting, is to kind of showcase some of that work, and to be able to take my daughter and a couple of her girlfriends to a show at a venue that we have and watch a talent like Sabrina was awesome.
That's cool. I was at Universal Studios. I ran the GP group there for 6 years, and my kids were growing, high school, all that sort of thing. They still talk about front of the line passes and going in the back door and doing things at a venue, whether it's Crypto.com Arena to see Sabrina or it's Universal Studios to see Jurassic Park the ride. It was an amazing experience for those kids, and the memories that you cement there are lifelong memories, and you'll always be a great dad because you did that.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not just the only reason. I lean a little more sports than music, but man, going to a game is the best. Taking your kids to a game, going with friends to a game, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Somebody might be an avid fan of a team or a player, or you're not, and you're there to just see what will happen and the talent that's on the particular field that you're at. Like, I just love that action. I love that juice of like, what's going to happen tonight? Kings play against the Avalanche. We're down 0-2. We got to win, right? We got to win tonight. It's the playoffs. It's going to be electric inside Crypto.com Arena. And there's so much passion for the Kings within our company because it's the first asset that kind of started AEG. It's kind of the heartbeat. And I don't know, it's going to be awesome. Like, I can't wait to go to the game.
Yeah, and you will, and it will be awesome. Two other questions. One is sort of a companion question to the female artist one. In the last 10 years, streaming streaming via Apple,
Yeah.
Netflix, Prime, all of it. And, I mean, you look at what Apple just did 2 years ago with MLS and then what they did in the past 6 months with Formula One, not just their sporting platforms and Netflix getting the Thursday night NFL game. And I mean, it just goes on and on, or maybe it's Prime, one of those got the Thursday night game.
Prime
Might
did.
be
Amazon
Amazon.
got
Yeah.
Prime. But Netflix has got a Christmas Day, so
Right.
yeah,
So here's the question. In your household, not sports, because you live sports all day, every day, but from an entertainment perspective on streaming platforms, whatever it is, do you have a favorite show that you're either watching now or a favorite show that you have watched?
yeah. I mean, I think there's always off the top of my mind. I'm more a documentary guy. Love a good documentary, but there's so much content that at times any time could be your favorite show. Oftentimes it'll be something that somebody has recommended or
Word of mouth.
or someone has presumed innocent on Apple Plus was awesome with Gyllenhaal. Just kind of takes you for a ride. You got to find something, or at least in my household, I like finding something that both me and my wife will say, all right, let's press play on this. I love watching behind the scenes stuff within sports. So Netflix has done a great job with Starting Five. That'll tell the story off the court, and I think we've always been enamored with that. HBO was first with 24/7 on the boxing side, and you got to know the personalities behind it, and it built up for the big fight, which boxing still brings it of like, wow, these guys are heading towards a fight. But that's every game, really, if you think about it. So I think the content is only getting better. The competition, to our earlier discussion, is only creating opportunity, which I think is great.
Well, you referenced documentaries. We're also a documentary household. Love them. Lots of great music documentaries out there, and I could tick off 5 off the top of my head that are awesome to watch. But you referenced David Beckham, and that David Beckham documentary on Netflix is outstanding.
Yep, it's good. There's another one his way about an old executive producer, agent Jerry Weintraub. It's super cool to check. There's so many good ones, and once you get down that rabbit hole, it's the best.
Yeah, because the algorithms on the other side are feeding you all the, well, since you liked this one, you're going to really like this one.
Oh yeah. And then you start watching stuff, or then you catch someone in a social setting and you mention a weird one, and they're like, "Wait, what? You watched that?"
Yeah, right. You
Then
watched
you got to
that?
justify why you watched it. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Last question. It's the pithy one. This is, and I'm going to guess I know the answer to this, but I'm going to let you tell me. This is your favorite word and why.
Yes, it's got to be my favorite word. Yes. Yes, in a sense of like that means let's go. Well, we're doing it. Let's go. Whether that could be something awesome with your family. Obviously, yes is good in our business, right? We got a crazy idea for a brand, and we go to them and we pitch an idea rooted in kind of some idea or solution for a need or a problem they have. And if somebody says yes, that's a good thing, right? I think ideas are huge. So when you hear the word yes, like, let's go. I definitely love that at home when I have something crazy thrown around and either my kids or wife say, yes, that's great. In business, it's great. Yeah, it's definitely my answer is yes.
That's awesome. Well, yes, it's been a great ride the last 45 minutes. Amazing 45 minutes has already come and gone. Thank you so much for being a guest. The insights, the stories, the culture, the positivity, all amounts to yes. Thanks to you, Nick Baker, for being a guest on the Best Boss Ever podcast.
Thanks for having me, Carl. Amazing honor to be with you, and I've always enjoyed our time together, and this last bit of time is the same. Good times.
Great. Thanks, man.
Cheers.